Hi everyone, this is Sinan from Car Inspected. Today we're doing a retrofit of the rear seat heating for the E60. It's a 2010 535. I just started removing some of the trim panels. So there is a trim here, it's right there, and here, and I lowered this and this. So the trim panels need to come off. We have 1, 2, 3, and then the fuse location need to be loosened. The glove compartment or the storage compartment needs to be removed, and then the bottom panel needs to come off in the back. So I've gotten the back seats from a donor car. They're color match, and I went and I removed it myself. So I tried to salvage as much of the wiring as I could, because I'm just going to transfer this from here into here. And this is for the bottom. I removed this panel here, which is right there. Don't forget to remove the bolt, otherwise you'll break this piece. So I'm running some wires. I've gotten a brown with a green line here. So on my car specific wiring, this goes to, as you can see, I just put it in, should go into pin number 36 according to the wiring diagram. So this is pin 34, 35 and 36, so it's the third one there, and the last one is 41. This is 34. So I did attach it to pin 36. I'm gonna have to close this properly before I move forward. I don't feel comfortable leaving it like this, so I'll fix that. Of course, remove the negative terminal. I mean, it's just not worth doing all of this work without removing the negative terminal. There is a ground wire that needs to connect to here. So I'm drawing 2 wires. One is for the ground, one is pin 36 in this connector for the fuse, for the fuse location in the rear. The wires are going to run along the car into here, and then they're going to exit in this area where I'm going to be installing the load shedding relay. I have the pinout for this as well, and this is essential. It actually sits right on top of the fuse compartment. So let's see if I can show you. It would need to go in something like this, but I'm not gonna slide it. You have to push this and pull it out. So I'm gonna leave it as is for now. I'm not gonna install. I have to tap into a wire here as well, or I'm gonna have to introduce a new wire here into one of these plugs. Let's see which one. According to BMW software, we need to go to pin number 1 in 11005, which is 1, 2, 3. So if you remember looking at the, it would be it won't be on the side where there is a second level. It'll be the side with the one level, and we start 1, then 2, then 3. That would be 11005. We're going to introduce a pin there that's going to go into, it's a 2.5 millimeter wire. So it's a large wire. And it's going to go into pin 6 in this connector, which is what I just showed you. Pin 6 would be here, and the color is red with yellow, I believe. So it would basically go in here. Okay, and we're going to continue to wire things in this area, but then there's going to be some wires that are going to have to go from here, or where it will be, and then they'll be routed around, and they're going to have to go into here to their access point, which is there. I do have the replacement. I had to match the wood as well, because that interior is the bamboo. So I kept the connectors mainly here. So we're going to be running them into these two switches, and then from these two switches we're going to have to run them into the connectors and the ground. So there's a lot of wiring involved for that option. Honestly, I'm just doing it as for a challenge. Seems like it's something interesting to undertake, so I'm just gonna go for it, give it a few hours, and see where to get, or see how far we get. So right now, step number 1, fix this. Make sure it's secured in place correctly before moving on, and then we're gonna finish the wiring into the fuse compartment in the front, and then we'll touch base then. Alright, we'll keep going. Alright, so we are reconvening. I have so far drawn a line from pin 1 in this blue connector to here, and I've just extended those two wires. Of course, I don't have the same color code, but I'm coding them, and I have a wiring diagram with the updated colors as I'm using them, so that I won't get lost, and in case I need to do diagnostics in the future, I'll be able to track this back. I've pulled two wires from the back. One is the ground, yellow in my case, but it is brown, and the black one is the equivalent to the green with red. Again, I have noted this in my wiring diagram, so I'll be able to track it later. Now, this I was able to match the color, and this I got close, but I couldn't get it perfect. It's green with yellow. I intentionally used a different color for the wires. They were the same color, and they were going into the rear driver and rear passenger heating. So the one in the center here is the one that goes to the driver's side, or the rear left side. The red one is the one that goes to the rear passenger side. I intentionally changed the color so I'll be able to figure them out once they arrive to the back. I've hidden the wire, the two wires that came from the, you can see them here, you can see them here, you can see them here. I've already attached this ground wire since I was in that area anyway. I still have one more ground wire on this side. And I also attach the ground wire to the back. This is the wire that goes to the front. The one that we just saw, which is equivalent to the yellow one. So it would be this one here. Which eventually makes its way to here. And then it is back to the same color. Make sure you respect the gauge of the wire. I use the slightly thicker wire. You can see a 0.5 versus a 0.35. So if you're going up, if you're going with a thicker wire, it's okay. But don't go with a thinner wire, especially with those big ones that hold a lot of power. So make sure you match the color gauge. Either the same size or slightly bigger is okay. We're going to continue, and the next step would be to close this up since we're done here. Close this up, route the wires into here, and we'll touch base again. Okay, now all the wires are here. And I'll just show you what I've done so far since the last video. So I've drawn the two wires and I've attached them to the correct pins. Red is passenger, green is driver. And if you go here, you'll see green is driver and passenger is red. Now what I'm doing is, well, for today I'm gonna be leaving this one unconnected. This is the dimmer, which is the same one here on the passenger side, and on the 12-volt socket has a dimmer as well. Now, my original car wiring does not have a dimmer connector, so I don't know where I'm gonna tap into these lights from, but I'll do that another time. For now, I want to make sure that the system works. So I've gotten wires from, you can see, this is the passenger side, yes. So I've gotten 3 wires that are supposed to connect to here. As you can tell, there are 4 wires left. There's one thick one. I match the wire gauges, obviously. And then there are 2 other wires other than the DIM that will need to be connected. So I had to route them under the carpet, under here, up through here, following a route, obviously. And then they came out from here. You can see the 3 wires on these here. And I will be doing the wiring. I've left some excess just in case. I've done the same thing on the driver's side. The 3 wires are sticking out, and those same 3 wires are right here. Again, the routing took a while, but I put everything back there because I don't need to visit it again. And I'm about to put this section back before I start the final wiring. So that's where we are right now. Okay, we'll check back probably when I'm almost done. Okay. Alright, so we finished putting everything back together. If you have a 2010, I looked at multiple places and I've been trying to find this gray and red wire, which is the second one from the left in this image. And so far I was able to find it here, which is the emergency flashers. I thought I'd find it here, but I didn't. And I thought I'd find it here, but I didn't. I'm pretty sure it should be here as well. So I'm gonna pull this apart and try to find the gray and red. I actually looked at these two, which according to the wiring diagram for illumination, or I think it's called dimmed lights and the ESTA Plus, it has two networks. They're all tapped, they're all connected to each other, so as long as you find one, you can tap into it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I looked here. This was supposed to have a gray and red line, which didn't. I'm gonna look into here and see, because I know this one dims, I know this dims, I know this dims, but these don't have gray and red wire in them. So anyway, I'm gonna pull things apart a little bit. I just want to show you the wiring is done. This is the new, this is the old. I'm gonna have to see, this one doesn't even have a light, so the new one does, but I don't have any wire connected to it yet. So this pin here on both sides, so I'm gonna have to do that before moving forward. There's a scratch on this. I'll probably put some liquid electrical tape just to seal it, just in case. There's no metal showing or anything, but yeah. Wiring is done. The system is working. I left the metal pieces out so that I can revisit it quickly. I checked the heating. The heating does work on both sides, so it is a success. I used the ground wires that are here behind both sides, and everything worked, but now we'll just get the dimmer to work. Okay. I'll check back hopefully when I figured it out. Okay, here's a quick update. We're sitting in the driver's side now, and as you can see, these are the buttons, or these are the connectors that light up the center switch, which is for the heating, etc. And the buttons on the left and right of the center console. There is no gray and red wire here. However, in the 12-volt outlet in the center console, you have a gray and red. This is for my car. It seems like it might be different for others. I found one here and one here, so I need 4 points to tap into in the back. So, or I need 4 points to power the dimmer in the back. So I'm going to be tapping into this one for 2 and this one for 2. I'm not sure if that's going to make any difference, but I'll just feel better that way. I don't want everything to be... I don't want to introduce 4 new lights to one wire, even though they're all connected. I just don't know what might result by overloading a wire. So I wanted to divide the load between 2 points. So I'm going to do that. I put the head unit, or the radio, the stereo, on the side. There was a lot of work here previously, especially for the night vision camera. Here's the night vision camera wiring, if you ever need it. It's the yellow and the black wires. These two. Anyway, I'm not gonna touch any of this, even if it does have, which does here, it does have a gray and red wire, which is the dimmer wire. I'm not gonna touch it, not gonna get close to it. I don't, I'll feel more comfortable tapping into this one and this one. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm introducing a new color, which of course is going to be reflected in my personal wiring diagram for this car. What's my personal wiring diagram? I just go into ISTA, I print the wiring diagram, and then I just put my notes in it. So when the line says gray and red, in my case it would say red for the emergency flashers, and it's gonna say blue and red for the 12-volt outlet, and then it's gonna go into the back, and the red is gonna split into the cigarette or the 12-volt outlets, cigarette lighter, whatever you want to call it. So it'll be powering these two, this one and this one. And then the blue and red will be powering this and this. That's my approach. I don't know if I could or if I should cut corners, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to go the long way. I'll feel better that way about the wiring. So that's where I am. We'll keep going. All right. This has been added to this, and the red one has been added to this one right here, and we routed the wire all the way to the back so you can find it here. And now we'll wrap up here, and then we'll go into the back and complete the wiring. Hopefully complete the wiring. Okay, and the dimmer is working. The heated seats are working as well. Just turn off the flash so you'll be able to see it better. Again, I separated, as mentioned earlier, probably in the videos, is much shorter versus what I was doing. So for me, it took about an hour and a half to get the wires from the front to the back. The red one, the red wire, was dedicated for the heated seat buttons themselves, which is the same one that illuminates the emergency flashers and the central lock. The socket outlet is what powers, or these are tapped into the socket outlet, so whatever happens to the socket outlet there happens here, and then whatever happens to the buttons there happens here. There might be some logic routed for these wires, or there might be some logic on when these turn on and off, so that's why I chose to wire the sockets with the socket at the front and the buttons with the button in the center. There might not be, but I just wanted to be on the safe side. I just wired them to go along with each other. There might be different networks in the car that power different lights at different times, but I could be wrong. I just took the safe side and took the long way, but I didn't want to revisit this later. So job is done, heated seats are working, and we're wrapping up.